Life has a way of putting opposites right next to each other. It'll let you taste victory and defeat in the same breath. One moment you're walking on sunshine, and the next you're crawling through shadows. You find yourself laughing with tears in your eyes, smiling while your heart is breaking. And if you're not careful, you'll think something is wrong with you, but baby, nothing is wrong. That's just life. That's the paradox. God will put strength in the same room as struggle. He'll let purpose walk hand in hand with pain. You'll be walking toward destiny, but dragging doubt behind you. You'll be full of faith and still trembling in fear. But don't you let that fool you. Don't you dare think for 1 second that you're disqualified because you feel conflicted. That tension you feel isn't a sign of failure, it's proof you're still in the process. It's proof that life is working, stretching, pressing, and molding you into what you're called to be. See, we've been trained to chase clarity, to run from contradiction. But sometimes it's the contradiction that teaches you more than the clarity ever could. It's in the confusion that you dig deeper. It's in the discomfort that you discover what's really inside you. And you can't have one without the other. There is no mountaintop without the valley. There is no triumph without the trial. The oil only flows after the pressing. You've got to learn to live in the middle, in the in-between, in the messy, uncomfortable, unresolved places. That's where your character is forged. That's where your voice gets its power. That's where God whispers things to you that He doesn't say in the crowd, because He does His best work in paradox. You'll think you're falling apart, but God says you're finally falling asterisk into place asterisk. You'll feel like you're being buried, but heaven says you're being planted. It looks like the end, but it's only the beginning. Don't let your mind play tricks on you just because life doesn't line up the way you plan. Stop trying to make everything make sense. If you only move when it's clear, you'll never move at all. If you only praise when it's perfect, you'll never praise at all. But if you can learn to embrace the paradox, if you can learn to worship in the dark, trust while trembling, walk while wounded, then nothing can stop what God has started in you. Because the contradiction isn't your curse, it's your confirmation. You're exactly where you're supposed to be, even when it doesn't feel like it. Life doesn't always look like the promise, but it's still producing it. So don't panic in the paradox, press through it. There's glory in the gray areas, there's beauty in the broken pieces, and there's power in the place where opposites collide. Nobody wants pain. Nobody wakes up asking for trouble, for heartbreak, for disappointment. But life doesn't need your permission to bring it. Pain will find you uninvited, unexpected, and unapologetic. It'll knock the wind out of your dreams and shake the foundation of your faith. But hear me, just because pain enters your life doesn't mean purpose has exited. There is power in that pain. There is purpose in that breaking. What you call breaking, God calls building. What feels like destruction is actually construction. He is not tearing you down to leave you in ruins. He's stripping away what was never meant to stay, so He can lay a stronger foundation beneath your feet. Sometimes the greatest growth comes wrapped in the garment of grief. Sometimes the greatest strength is born out of the storm that tried to drown you. Yes, it hurts. Yes, it's heavy. Yes, you didn't see it coming. But pain doesn't show up to destroy you, it comes to reveal what's inside you. You don't know how strong you are until life pulls the comfort out from under you. You don't know how deep your faith runs until it's tested by fire. You don't know what's in your heart until it gets crushed and the oil begins to flow. See, you prayed for elevation, but elevation doesn't come without separation. You asked for destiny, but destiny has a price. You wanted to walk in purpose, but purpose will always demand something from you. Pain is part of the process. There is no crown without a cross. There is no resurrection without a crucifixion. And there is no glory without some groaning along the way. So don't curse the pain, don't run from it, don't numb it, don't bury it, don't fake your way around it. Let it teach you, let it shape you. Let it make you wise. Pain is a teacher that doesn't speak in soft tones. It speaks through the sleepless nights. It speaks through the moments you thought would break you. It speaks when the crowd leaves and the silence gets loud. That's when pain teaches you who you really are and who your God really is. The enemy wants you to believe that pain is proof that you're defeated, but it's not. It's proof that you're still alive. It's proof that you've still got a fight left in you. Every tear you cried was watering the soil of your future. Every trial you survived was training you for the next level. You are not being punished. You are being prepared. So walk through the pain. Don't stop in it. Crawl if you have to, but don't quit. Because on the other side of that pain is power. On the other side of that suffering is strength. On the other side of what almost took you out is the testimony that's about to lift someone else up. You didn't come this far to break, you came this far to be built. Let the pain do its work. Let it carve you into someone unshakable. Sometimes God doesn't show up the way you expected, but that doesn't mean He didn't show up. Sometimes He doesn't open the door you prayed for, and instead, He closes it right in your face. But don't be confused by the closed door. Don't misinterpret the denial. Because just because God said asterisk, no asterisk, doesn't mean He said asterisk, never asterisk. It might not be rejection, it might be protection. We often expect God to move in ways that make sense to us. We want Him to bless us in the spotlight, heal us in public, deliver us in one breath. But He's not confined to your schedule. He's not limited by your logic. He is God, He moves in mystery, and just because it doesn't look like a miracle doesn't mean it's not one. Sometimes He answers your prayer by removing what you were never meant to carry. Sometimes He leads you forward by first pulling you back. You wanted the job, but He shut it down. You wanted the relationship, but He let it fall apart. You wanted the opportunity, but the door slammed closed. And in the moment, you felt rejected, abandoned, forgotten. But what you didn't see was what He was shielding you from. What you didn't hear were the conversations He blocked. What you didn't know was the trap the enemy set, and God dismantled it before you even stepped into it. That's how He moves, not always loud, not always dramatic, not always obvious. But He moves with precision. He moves with purpose. He moves with love that covers, protects, and preserves. You may not see the full picture now, but trust this. He's already seen the ending from the beginning. And if He's redirecting you, it's only because He's preserving the promise. Don't mistake silence for absence. Don't mistake delay for denial. Just because you're not where you want to be doesn't mean God isn't where He needs to be. He's already working behind the scenes. He's orchestrating, shifting, aligning things you didn't even pray for. That detour you hated might be the exact path that leads to your destiny. That loss you cried over might be the weight that had to fall off before you could rise. When God uses paradox, He shows His power. When He blesses you in ways that look like burdens, when He grows you through trials that look like trouble, when He sets you up by first stripping you down, that's power. That's divine strategy. That's supernatural wisdom. He doesn't need to explain Himself to prove He's faithful. He doesn't need your approval to guide your steps. And when it's all said and done, you'll look back and thank Him not just for what He gave, but for what He refused to let you have. He's not just the God who opens doors. He's the God who closes them too for your good, for your growth, for His glory. You can be full of faith and still feel fear. You can love God with all your heart and still wrestle with anxiety at night. You can speak in tongues on Sunday and still question your strength on Monday. That doesn't make you weak, it makes you real. We've been taught that fear and faith can't live in the same room, but let me tell you something, they often show up to the same address. You can be anointed and afraid. You can be chosen and still feel challenged. You can carry the promise of God and still have to fight every day to believe it. Faith isn't the absence of fear, it's the decision to move forward in spite of it. It's waking up with doubt whispering in your ear, but walking in destiny anyway. It's showing up with trembling hands, quivering knees, and a mind full of what-ifs, but stepping anyway. Don't let fear trick you into silence. Don't let it convince you that your emotions disqualify your calling. God didn't choose you because you were fearless. He chose you because even in your fear, you didn't fold. Even in your doubt, you didn't drown. You pressed, you pushed, you prayed, you kept going when everything in you said quit. That's what faith looks like. Not perfect, not polished, but persistent. Even the strongest stumble, even the mighty have moments. Even Jesus in the garden cried out, "Let this cup pass from me." That wasn't weakness, that was honesty, and real faith doesn't deny the pain. Real faith doesn't fake the strength. Real faith says, "I feel it, but I won't be ruled by it." It says, "I'm scared, but I'm still going." It says, "My knees are shaking, but my soul is standing." So many people are waiting to be fearless before they move. But let me tell you, fearless doesn't always show up first, obedience does. And obedience is often born in the middle of the fear, right where it hurts, right where it's uncomfortable. Don't wait to feel bold walk until boldness meets you. Don't wait for courage to hit you like lightning, build it in the shadows. You can still be a warrior even when you cry. You can still be a leader even when you feel lost. God doesn't call the unshaken, He calls the available. And if all you've got is a whisper of faith, if all you've got is a broken hallelujah, if all you've got is a tear, stained yes, that's enough. That's more than enough, because what's inside of you is stronger than what's around you. You may feel afraid, but fear does not own you. You were built for this, called for this, equipped for this. And even if fear rides with you, don't let it drive. Tell fear you can come, but you can't control. Because your faith is still bigger than your fear, even if it trembles. You thought it was punishment, didn't you? You thought because it hurt, because it shook you, because it broke what you thought was stable, that somehow you had done something wrong. But hear me, this is not punishment. This is preparation. This is God getting you ready for something greater than you can even imagine. And preparation doesn't feel good. Preparation doesn't always come wrapped in peace and pretty packaging. Sometimes it comes through chaos. Sometimes it comes through loss. Sometimes it comes through pressure so intense you feel like you're being crushed. But the crushing is not meant to kill you, it's meant to produce something in you. You asked for purpose, and God started pruning. You asked for more, and He began removing. You wanted elevation, and He introduced isolation. And you looked around and thought, why am I losing what I thought I needed? But maybe what you thought you needed was only meant to carry you through the last season, not into the next. Sometimes God has to subtract before He multiplies. Sometimes He has to strip you before He strengthens you. There's nothing wrong with you, you're just in the middle of process. You are in the furnace of refinement. You are being shaped, molded, forged by the fire. And yes, it's uncomfortable. Yes, it's confusing. but don't despise the process. The greater the calling, the deeper the cutting, the heavier the oil, the more intense the pressing. And if you've been pressed, if you've been crushed, if you've been cut deep, that's because there's something heavy on your life. Don't let your discomfort make you forget your destiny. This pain is not wasted. This delay is not denial. This season is not the end, it's the training ground. It's where God is teaching you how to carry what you asked for. You see, you don't prepare a soldier on the battlefield. You prepare them in the trenches. You teach them how to fight before the war begins. That's what this season is. You're being prepared in private for what will be revealed in public. You are being set apart. You are being made ready. The tears you cried in secret are watering the soil for the harvest you haven't seen yet. Every door that closed wasn't rejection, it was redirection. Every no was making room for a better yes. Every lonely night was making space for divine alignment. You are not behind, you are not forgotten. You are right where you need to be. So stop cursing what God is using to build you. Stop running from what's shaping you. You may not see the full picture now, but when you step into what you've been prepared for, you'll look back and thank God for every breaking moment. Because what tried to bury you only planted you, and what tried to crush you only proved you were built for more. You're not always going to understand what God is doing. There will be moments when nothing makes sense. You'll pray and hear silence. You'll knock and the door won't open. You'll give your all and still come up short. But hear this, just because you can't trace his hand doesn't mean you can't trust his heart. You may not see the why, but he's still working the how. He's not obligated to explain his process to validate his promise. Faith isn't about having all the answers. It's about trusting even when you don't. It's about standing when everything in you wants to sit down and give up. It's about lifting your hands in worship with tears streaming down your face, not because everything is right, but because you trust that he's still righteous. It's walking through the fire knowing you might get burned, but believing you won't be consumed. It's trusting that there's a fourth man in the fire, even if you can't see him yet. You don't need to understand the route to reach the destination. You just need to follow the one who wrote the map. And sometimes he'll lead you through wilderness before you see the promise. Sometimes he'll let things fall apart just to show you how he holds all things together. Sometimes he'll delay the blessing so your character can catch up to your calling. And sometimes he'll shut every door you thought you needed so you learn he is the door. The problem is, we want control. We want details. We want the full itinerary before we even take the first step. But God doesn't move according to your calendar. He moves according to his covenant. And when he said he would never leave you nor forsake you, he meant it. That means even in the silence, he's there. Even in the storm, he's present. Even in the valley, he's guiding. You may feel like everything is spinning out of control, but it's not out of his asterisk control. You may feel like the promise is fading, but it's just being forged. Trust isn't passive, trust is active. Trust means you keep moving when your emotions are screaming to stop. Trust means you build the ark when there's not a drop of rain. Trust means you carry the wood for the sacrifice even when you don't see the ram in the bush. So stop trying to understand everything. Stop needing all the pieces to feel peaceful. Peace doesn't come from knowing, it comes from trusting asterisk. Peace comes when you say, even if I don't see it, I'll still believe it. Even if I don't feel it, I know he's working. Because his ways are higher. His timing is perfect, and his plan is still unfolding. You don't have to figure it out, you just have to follow. Trust him beyond your logic. Trust him past your pain. Trust him when it's messy. Trust him when it's dark. Because when you can't see the way, asterisk, he still is the way, asterisk.